Hey guys, Tad here from Attack of the Killer podcast with another Patreon exclusive video update. Happy New Year. Hope you're enjoying 2019 so far. I'm here for once again another video update. And as always, we thank you, the Patreon supporters, for your donations towards Attack of the Killer podcast. That's why we give you these exclusive videos, the bonus episodes, and all the other content. And if you like what you're seeing, let us know. It's always great to hear positive feedback. So, not going to take much longer on this introduction. I have something that I've been wanting for quite a while. I want to show you, and I'm going to do an unboxing video. If you've listened to the podcast, which I'm hoping you do if you're a Patreon subscriber, you know that I'm a huge Halloween fan. It's my favorite horror movie franchise. Showed you the mask from the 2018 film, have the poster, have a lot of stuff from the whole franchise in general, but I finally got NECA's 7-inch 2018 Michael Myers action figure, and I'm stoked. It's the ultimate Michael Myers. They sort of do this new ultimate line where they include an extra head, extra accessories, more articulation, that kind of thing, and I really like them. I've sort of ranted on the podcast on the collection episode about how they're sort of hiking up the prices on these things by calling them ultimates. As you can see over my shoulder, I've collected 7-inch action figures, mainly from NECA and McFarlane, for several years. These probably cost between $15 and $20. These new ones are around $30, and it's still not too bad compared to what like Mezco's doing with their 112. I do not understand that price point. I understand they have a lot of accessories and they're cool, detailed, but $100 or somewhere around there, no way. I'm much more a fan of the hard articulation. I don't like the cloth clothing. Anyways, I'll show you the package before I cut it open. It's sort of plain, has the theatrical poster name on it, and this little sticker says includes light up flickering pumpkin, which is cool. It has the standard spines, which are pretty boring, but I don't know what else you could have done with this. You know, every angle on the box is the same. Has the credits on the bottom. Kyle Wendricks sculpted this. That guy is an OG in the action figure game. He's done a lot of the classic stuff I have. Probably like 75% of the stuff you see over my shoulders, Kyle Wendricks is sculpted. He worked for McFarlane before NECA. Ultimate sculptor, ultimate cool guy. Always loved him. He's been doing it forever. Sort of cool. Back has a sort of a collage of the different pictures that NECA took, and it sort of lists what it comes with. Has the quick synopsis of the film. The pictures always look better than the actual action figure because production, you know, when you mass produce something, it never is quite as good as the prototype, but I mean, it's hard to NECA's been pretty good on their stuff, so I can't harp on them too much. So has the gatefold, opens up, has a picture of Michael on the steps of the Myers house, and there he is in all his glory. Of course I'll be opening this because, like I said, if you listen to the collection episode, you know that I am an opener. You don't even have to listen to the episode. You see over my shoulder every single one of these videos that I am an opener. But this guy has been one I've been wanting since they announced it. And they also announced that they're doing an Ultimate Laurie Strode, which is fucking awesome. We've been needing a Laurie Strode action figure forever. We do have one Dr. Loomis, or I do. I know NECA made a Dr. Loomis in the box set. But anyways, I'm going to open this bad boy up and sort of go over what he comes with. So I'll tilt the camera down so you can sort of watch, because no one needs to see my face. But he comes with extra head, comes with the flickering pumpkin like the box said, comes with a hammer, a knife, and the fireplace poker, I guess you'd say, and the carved out sheriff's head, and 4 extra hands. So and a tombstone, the Judith Myers tombstone, which I'm guessing is just a retooling of the one that came with the old box set with a little Michael, but I'm not going to complain. I feel like they had to do a few things with Michael, take some liberties to make him an Ultimate. That's what I'm sort of not 100% keen on these Ultimate action figures, because I feel like some of these are a stretch. This could have just been a regular release. Back in my day, because I sound like an old man, this would have just been released as is, and it wouldn't necessarily be called an Ultimate action figure. And I'll show you why. It's sort of cool in the box. In the background, they have the picture of the house too as a backdrop, so you can sort of recreate that scene. Anyways, I think it even might slide out of the box so you can use it. I don't know, maybe not. But yeah, here he is. As usual, NECA, I should have brought my wire cutters, because they always include a lot of zip ties, but he's only got 2 on this guy, so it's not too bad. I'll move this back so you can see a little bit better. The tombstone looks like it comes in a separate sleeve. I don't know why I always worry so much about ruining the packaging, as if I'm going to resell these things. I know I'm not. You know I'm not. I don't get rid of anything. So yeah, I'm looking at the old one. It looks very similar, but maybe slightly less detailed actually. But as you can see, the Judith Myers tombstone from the original Halloween and the new one stands on its own. Cool accessory. I've got, as I can see, 3 of them from here in my collection. Now like I said, I should have grabbed my wire cutters, because this makes for a real boring video. But luckily, with Michael, they only have 2 zip ties. Just make them always sort of a bitch to open, but that's okay. I'd rather have this slight inconvenience than having a broken action figure. But anyways, like I was talking about earlier, I feel like sometimes they sort of make it a stretch, and with Michael, they really made it a stretch to call this an Ultimate action figure. Yeah, he comes with a lot of accessories, but did we really need, what do we have, 6 hands? I mean, it's not like Michael's a kung fu master. And I'll show you when I get this open, but I feel like the 2 heads are sort of bullshit too. There we go. That would have been a lot quicker, huh? Let's get this bad boy out of the package. I've seen some, not necessarily complaints, but observations online that in scale he's a little taller than he should be. But man, he's pretty cool. You can see he's got the new mask, which I thought they did a fantastic job with in the new film. He's got the coveralls. He's got the very detailed bloody hands. Now I will say this. I'm also been a sort of nitpicker when it comes to the whole articulation thing on these Ultimate figures. NECA started adding way more articulation to their action figures a couple of years back, which seems like a weird thing to complain about, but I've always put sculpt over articulation. I like those old McFarlane figures that are almost sculptures. I don't like necessarily them being stuck in one pose, but it's Michael Myers. Guess what his pose is going to be? This, or him with his arm raised with a knife. Those are the 2 poses you're going to put Michael in. He does not need this sort of new diaper crotch, I call it, that they put on these things. There's no need for that. Just give him some swivel legs. You're not going to have, no one's going to pose this thing with him doing the splits or sitting down or doing gymnastics or any shit. It makes him look like he has a jock strap on or a cod piece or something, or a big blue diaper. I absolutely hate the crotches on these things, but it didn't deter me from buying it. Now I'm looking pretty close. Mask is pretty good and detailed. They did a good job with the paint apps. No slop on here. They nailed the sort of the body shape of the new Myers. They went far more realistic. That fact that he would be, like 70 years old in this new movie. So he's not, the thin 21-year-old from John Carpenter's. I will say, they always do make it more accurate to what he looks like on the film rather than what the actor actually wore, because in the new movie he wore, I believe, charcoal colored, so they're more gray blue, and both action figures sort of have him in a navy blue. In the original, he was wearing an olive green set of coveralls. In this new movie, he wore charcoal, and both action figures, he's wearing navy blue because of the color timing on the film. So, yeah, he has a million points of articulation. This guy can do way more than probably the real Michael could do. He can, you even have these legs are ridiculous. I don't get why we need so much rotation in the legs. His knees bend. I'm not going to do too much because some of these figures are very fragile, and you need to warm them up with either a blow dryer or some hot water, and that will sort of help out with the joints so they don't snap, because like I said, they can be very fragile. But let's sort of dig into the accessories. I'm going to get a little closer so you can sort of see better what I'm doing. We've got 4 different hands, which are made for, he has there's the hand with the missing finger. Spoiler, if you haven't seen the movie, Laurie shoots off part of his hand. He has 2 different hands for holding the knives, the hammer, and the poker. And then he just has sort of one extra grippy hand. And I'm not sure why we need another grippy hand, because he sort of has 2 grippy, bloody hands anyways. What I think, and not to just keep harping on this problem, but I feel like they really had to stretch to make this a ultimate figure to justify the price. So they have what they're calling 2 separate heads, okay? Slightly different. The hair is very, very slightly different. One, the hair that is comes on the figure, on that head, is more messy, spiked up. In the back, it's slightly different. It's more messy and textured. And on this head, it's more flat and subdued and styled. And the other big thing is that on this figure, I don't know if you can see it on this thing, but he has eyes that are sculpted in the mask, and I'm doing a horrible job of showing you that. But he has the actual damaged eye from the original Halloween, which is a cool thing they put in the new film. I think that's cool. But on the other separate head, they've painted the eyes out, blacked out the eyes, so that you get that sort of darkened eye feel, which I'll probably switch to this head because I don't like seeing Michael's eyes. That's what's sort of cool about that original film and this new one. I don't like seeing Michael's eyes. It's a cool touch that they show that he has that damaged eye from the hanger that Laurie pokes him in the eye in the closet in the first movie, but I don't need to see his eyes, and that's what's sort of cool. These ones have the recessed eyes that are painted black, and he has a little bit of red on his left eye from that poke, so a little blood on the mask, which is sort of cool. And those sort of you can just sort of pop the head off and replace. Here's the pull-out jack-o'-lantern sheriff's head, which is another cool accessory if you've seen the film, which if you haven't, sorry I've spoiled like everything for you, but the sheriff in the movie gets decapitated, and Michael puts the sheriff's flashlight inside his head, and it glows like a jack-o'-lantern. Would have been nice if instead of including an extra Michael head, they could have just spent a little bit more money and put like a little LED light in this guy. I've seen some people put Christmas lights or tea lights inside to make it glow, because it actually is hollow. So they spent the time to make sure he's hollow and that feature can work, but they didn't bother putting a light in it. But it is very detailed, gory. They did a good job of the wash on the hair to make it look realistic. So yeah, it looks pretty much like it did in the film. And the pumpkin's from new movie with the heart eye cuts. Really cool. Pretty simple. I think if it's like the old one, let's see. Yeah, you click on the upper pumpkin part, and it has a little flickering LED light. How freaking cool is that? I love that. They had this on the original NECA Myers that I have up on the shelf, and I think the batteries have probably long died on mine, but the original run had the flickering pumpkin. Then they eventually stopped putting batteries in them. It's the same pumpkin sculpt, but they stopped putting the batteries in them because they're cheap. But yeah, like I said, if they would have put this inside this guy's head too, I don't think he has enough light that you can see, but it would have been really cool to include the same light in the head so that his head would flicker too. But that's probably the coolest accessory out of all this stuff. And then we've got all these hands. And I never know what to do with all these extra little accessories. They've done something really cool for the extra heads. They've made these exclusive stands that you can actually put your extra heads on and display them with your action figure, which is a nice touch, but I've never really, I just sort of keep them in the box, and I never really change them out much. These Ultimate figures, like I said, they're cool, but I don't need all this extra. I'm not going to dig out the extra hands quite yet, but you can see the detail on them is really good. They have the one here with his fingers blowing off, so he only has the 3 fingers, and they have these 2 down here, which both grip knives, and then sort of a grabby hand. Just sort of a lame description of it. But, yeah. Glad I brought these little scissors down with me. Let's dig into the other accessories. We've got the classic butcher knife, which if you've seen the new movie, he takes from an elderly woman. That's pretty much a scene taken directly from the original Halloween 2. He sort of sneaks into an old lady's house like he did Miss Elrod in the original movie. Murders her. Actually, with a hammer, he steals from the garage and then takes her butcher knife. So we have the classic butcher knife. I'm sure it's been just repurposed from another figure. That's what NECA likes to do, and I don't blame him. We got a claw hammer, which he uses to get the knife from the old lady, which is such a brutal scene. Then we have the fireplace poker, which sort of looks like a soft bobby pin with a hook on the end, which is cool too. Could make for a cool accessory for him to hold. And yeah, so that's all the accessories. I guess I could sort of try out and put some of these hands on Michael so that you can see him holding the knives and stuff. Let's see. I was sitting here thinking, I don't remember if Michael's right or left-handed, but the hands just pop right off, and there's this little pivot ball, and that's how the hands pop on and off. They're sort of delicate, so if you buy this thing and this is your first Michael figure, be careful, or first NECA figure, be careful, because it will, these little pegs will snap off like they're nothing. They're sort of soft, and you have to be careful. So yeah, this guy will pop, hopefully, right back on there. And this is where you'll watch me get like frustrated or break my brand new action figure. But they don't make it very easy to get it back on there. This is really captivating, isn't it? But you can see it's not really quite on there. But in this hand you can put the knife, hopefully. Probably should have popped the knife on before I put his new hand on. Yeah. But anyways, you get the gist of it. I feel like I'm slowly dwindling in this video, but see if I can get this knife on, because that's how pretty much I feel like you should pose them with anyways. What's Michael Myers without a knife, right? So there we go. There he is with his knife. You can sort of bend the elbows. So he's holding it a little more realistically. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this. Like I said, it's a cool figure. I'll play around with it a little bit more off camera, but you get to see the unboxing, which some people find fascinating. Kids find it fascinating. I don't. I search YouTube for basically action figure reviews like this guy, but yeah, you sort of get a look at the new Myers. He's got that, got the knife. Put the other hand back. But yeah, that's NECA's new 7-inch Michael Myers action figure. If you have a Target in your area, they are showing up there. I've been looking for one at our Target for the last month, and I decided that I was getting tired of that, so I ended up ordering them from BigBadToyStore.com. It was about $30 shipped. They're about $27 or $28 at Target if you can find one. And yeah, you can order them from just about any online retailer. Don't buy them from, well, I think NECA sells them on their eBay, but they charge $10.99 for shipping, which is way too much for me. But if you can find them locally, you can sort of look at paint apps in person. That's what I suggest. And yeah, happy hunting. He's really cool. I'll be back with some more toy reviews, so keep an eye on here. Thanks for supporting us again. Thanks for listening to the podcast, and I'll see you next time on Attack of the Killer Podcast.